We have Ann and we have Mark.
Nice. Good morning.
Woohoo!
Super excited.
Where's Stu? There he is. There he is.
And there's Sue's iPad.
Okay, we got the
Hopefully
gang
soon to
together.
follow.
Okay, let's do it.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Funday Sunday. We're going to get started right away. I have no more things to rhyme. To get started, we're going to come to the front parts of our mat. We take this big long trek up here. We're going to bring our feet just slightly inside the borders of our mat. And we're going to angle the toes in towards the center line. And as we draw the legs straight, we're going to haul in that nice strong belly of ours. As we engage it, we're going to start elongating through the spinal column. We're going to roll the shoulders up to the ears with the palms facing backwards today. As you separate your fingers widely, so that the thumbs are aiming in towards the hips, I'd like you to kind of take a little bit of a gander or a registration of what happened with the shoulders. Now, if they're slightly forward in the body, I'd like you to kind of pull the shoulders backwards and open and expand and crowd out the chest. As you keep those fingers separated now, widely, I'd like you to straighten out the arms as best you can. And before we make any more movement, I'd like you to take your heels and we're going to create an isometric activation by trying to spiral them away from the center line. And if you felt the muscles, you know what I'm talking about, right? Right around the hips, kick in, great. Now, as you keep that broad shoulder and proud chest, I'd like you to spiral those thumbs all the way around and backwards. Feel that nice opening and engagement, opening through the chest, engagement of the muscles of the back. As we keep that, we're going to elevate the arms up shoulder height and really try to use the fingers to pull all the arm and shoulders off the center line of the body. All the while, we've kept that nice external activation through the heels, right? Just checking. Now, rotate the palms down, rotate the palms up, and oscillate between those two for a few repetitions. Go slowly and enjoy it, and see if you can extend the range of motion of the rotation of both directions. Just a little more. Some of us will try to guide that with your thumbs, but try to really make the palm the operating point. And then hold up the palms, sweep up to the skies, the hands to salute the sun. As we keep that external heel activation, I'd like you to draw back the hips, keep the legs relatively straight. Stand it back up, keep the arms in spot. Now, before we come back again, I'd like you to engage the six-pack. You know, that six-pack muscle, cannon firing into the belly type of thing. Keep it active as you now draw back the hips. Keep those heels externally rotating. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale, stand tall. And oscillate between the back and forward position, keeping those arms elongating all the time, not bending through the elbows, almost like the fingers are pulling everything forward. Hold up, relax the arms, draw the shoulders up to the ears, open the palms face forward, put a bend in the elbows this time and draw them backwards. Nice. Now we have a nice proud chest. We have nice engagement for those muscles of the back. We're going to hug the body with our arms. They may not get onto your rib cage. So I'm talking about the upper arms. As you work that activation of muscle, keeping the palms facing the sky, we're going to sweep the palms open and then bring them back to the starting point. So opening and closing, not a big range of motion, just a small activation through those external rotators of the shoulder. You can tell there's a little bit of emphasis on that right now. And as we hold open this time, keep the fingers widely separated and use them to pull the arms all the way out, and then use the elbows to pull all the way in. And pushing out slowly, extending all the way that you can, and then drawing back in the elbows, and then add the two together. Center, open, extend out, pull back in, and continue. Now, while you're doing this, I'm going to remind you about the external heel rotation that we created earlier. Did that fall off? And if it did, bring it back in. All right, now, bring it back in, bring hands over heart. Keep the external heel activation, spine long as you fold forward. And begin to explore your range of motion. Kind of like a bird, you know, those ones that our parents used to have that we used to dip their beak into the water. That's you today. Ripping down or dropping down, spine long. Very important here. We're trying to really activate mostly into those gluteals and avoid the use of some of the smaller spinal, low spine muscles. So we drive the energy of use through those strong gluteals. I'd like you to keep the spine long and the neck long. Decompress through the neck. Just do another couple repetitions. See if you can extend a little lower each subsequent repetition. And as we stand back up, hold up, push the palms together. Elevate the elbows. Once again, we're going to check in and register what's happening with the shoulders. Have we shifted forward? If we have, I'd like you to draw back, proud out the chest as palm pushes into palm. Keep that palm pushing the palm with the proud chest as you extend the arms forward and draw it back in. You'll notice, maybe, hard to see it from the camera angle probably, my fingers are separated widely as we push palms together, elbows bending, chest proud, love and life. Hands come back over heart, hold, and then fold. Now, take that external rotation off the heels, step the toes straight forward. As you keep the spine extended long, let the knees drift forward to your toes, and then draw your butt backwards towards the heels and do both simultaneously as you lower down. Now, keep the chest proud, extend the arms out. Rise up and lower down. Now we're going to add in that external heel rotation or activation as we raise and lower the body. We're really kind of exercising a lot of the muscles for the joints of our hips, knees, and ankles as we make this extension and flexion happen, basically called squatting. Standing tall, pushing high, holding up, making the chest nice and proud. Bring the hands, relax the hands and arms and shake it. Great job. Now, I'm going to move positions. Keep at the front of your mat. Mine's not ideal. And now we're going to just step wide to the edges of the mat. Like you put your left hand on left hip, you take your right hand and reach it just in front of the body. So it's not back far. We're not ratcheting back. I'd like you to kind of lengthen out through that whole side body as you reach nice and tall. And you're going to keep that length as you sweep the right arm across the left side, midline of the body, and push the right hip up. Now draw the hip back and give a little bit of flexion through the hips. Try to keep the legs relatively straight, and then come back up to standing and switch sides. So this lateral body stretch is very good for us. It's very easy to implement. It can be done anytime during the day. The muscles we're lengthening right now are a lot of the ones that are active and are sitting, and as a result, they tend to shorten up. And these lateral chains, you know, when you stretch them out, they kind of enjoy it. Do a couple more repetitions on each side. The importance of length is very important. Length and decompression kind of work hand in hand. So if you lengthen for that whole side body, as you use the fingers to pull along, you're really kind of decompressing all of those muscles. All right, enough of that fun.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a great stretch. So both hands on hips now. We're going to take the toes as their heels to the edge of the mat and step your toes off the edge of the mat. And with hands on hips, we're going to go into a modified sumo. So it's a little bit of narrower stance, but we have the angulation. So we have about a 90-degree angle formed through the legs, coming down and rising up. Now, continue doing this, and let me give you a little bit of cueing points here. As you go down, it's not unusual for our bodies to want to flip the tailbone back, reach back like we're going to a seat. But today, I'd like you to keep engaged with the six pack, so we're not getting any movement through that lumbar spine. Not that we're locking it down, just more stabilizing it. So we're going down and rising up to avoid movement in the spinal column. We have engagement through the abdominal and through our core. Get as low as you can go, rise back up. Now, the depth of these is very important. What happens as you get deeper into these squats is the muscles are getting lengthened out more because it's just the physical property of getting deeper into the squats. So I'm keeping my hands on hips. Kirsten's gone hand over heart. Sometimes we need to alter how our body weight moves through space by relocating where our arms are. You figure it out for your body. We're going to come down. We're going to hold down. We're going to release the hands off hips. Now you can bring forearms onto thighs if it's possible or accessible. Try to get your fingertips on the earth, keeping the chest nice and proud, and hold out here. Couple breaths. And then push your hips back up, step your toes face forward. So we're now in a folded position. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend. Hold the extension. Draw the hips backwards. Try to get as much, excuse me, as much weight bearing into the heels as you can. Now, as you maintain that heel weight bearing posture, I'd like you to take the ball of each big toe and push it into the mat. And then I'd like you to try to straighten out both legs. Oh, did you get it? Did you feel that extra little bit of pull? That tension is muscle releasing right now. Holding on this, keeping the spine long. See if you can grip that, the hips just ever so slightly more. On your next breath, let the upper body go into flexion. Just hang out. So, ball of each big toe, pushing to the mat, weight bearing through the heels primarily. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Keep those legs driving straighter and straighter as you continue to inhale and fold. Sorry, inhale, extend, and exhale, fold. Oh, therapeutic. Now, hold open. Draw back the hips once again. Walk the hands forward. Big breath in. Powerful exhale, let the upper body fall. Take a couple breaths, hang out. Float on the feet, drift forward, back, side to side. Figure out how to balance the weight between left and right and front and back. And once you've got that, keep the sensation in the feet as you step your palms onto the shins. Keep the sensation in the feet as you bend the knees and start to raise the upper body. So we're almost like in a squat-like position. Kind of like a ski jumper. Now, proud up the chest. Keep the chest proud. Stand tall, all the way up. Arms salute the sun. Big breath in, inhale. Exhale, relax the arms. Nice job. Now, we're all done for the day. I'm kidding, of course. Step your right foot forward. As we come into a lunge position, again, it's all about setup and making sure you're most stable. But most importantly, I'd like you to make the front leg a little pronounced in terms of how we're operating with it today. Just a micro bend in the knee and the ball of the big toe of the front foot. I want you to orient a little bit of push into it. Now, if that makes you unstable, adjust body a little bit, but try to keep the leg as straight as possible, micro bend. So as we keep that effort to push that ball, I'm going to bring hands on hips. I'm going to make the chest nice and proud. I'm going to draw the elbows together in the back. I'm going to keep that nice activation and add to it. What we're going to add is the cannonball protector. So you're going to get that fired up and you're going to hinge forward. Now the tension of muscle should be felt mostly in the hip. And if you're getting that, nice.
Back foot heel up.
Back heel is up, front of the toes. Yeah, all right. Now we're going to hold on this, keeping everything nice and proud, elongated. Cannonball ready. And then we're gonna slowly come back to standing. There we go. Now, same thing. Set it up, squeeze those elbows together. Chest is nice and proud, neck is still long, right? Micro bend, and we're gonna lean in. Now, I want you to lean as far as you can maintain the integrity of the stabilization of the spine. So if you can take it lower without dropping your shoulders or flexing through the upper body, you can go to where you can take it and then come back up slowly and then descend into this one more time. And as you rise back up this time, change up sides. Toes, you're up on them on the back foot, the ball of the big toe of that left foot, rounded, slight bend, hands on hips, elbows squeezed together, chest proud, and we begin to descend. Now the transfer of weight or muscle activation can be realized by how it feels in the foot. And for the most part, you should feel a little bit of weight orientation in the heel, but I really like you to try to experience that ball of the big toe pushing in through the whole range of motion, all the way down and all the way up. As we pull down, keeping long, 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 enjoy the descent as much as you enjoy the ascent. We're gonna go do one more time, one more repetition down. You might notice your balance has felt challenged through all of this range of motion. That's good. This is all good balance work also. Step the back foot forward, shake it out. Enjoy life for a couple breaths. I'm gonna grab some water. I urge you or ask you to do the same. Cheers. Cheers to everybody. Now, we're gonna bring our feet to the edges, sorry, our heels to the edges of the mat and the toes turn into the central line. We're gonna just shake it back, left and right. Just like dance class. I've never been to dance class, but just like it. Now, we're gonna keep the legs nice and straight. We're gonna bring our effort now to pull the legs together. So legs straight, kind of like chopsticks moving together, keeping that nice and active. Hands on hips, elbows squeezed together, chest proud. Cannonball protector, active, right? Draw the hips backwards as you continue to pull the legs together. So our legs are relatively straight, almost locked out, if you will. And range of motion, again, precipitated by control and stabilization of the spine. And you know when your body kind of falls off, right? The head drops, or the chest kind of collapses, or the shoulders round forward. That's the body compromising the movement pattern. I like you to try to maintain the integrity of the movement pattern because we want to be specific in the muscles we're trying to get to right now. So keep squeezing those legs and trying to get down as low as you can. Spine long, all the way back up, all the way back down. And on the next repetition, up, hold up, step it out, shake it out, enjoy life. Kind of sound like Taylor Swift today, but it's shake it off, isn't it? All right, now, move the sun. Separate the fingers widely, palms facing forward, draw everything up towards the sky. So everything feels lifted. Now, flap the arms, forward and back. And if you have tension forming in the neck, I'd like you to kind of get a grasp of how to relax those muscles. Let's calm the flap, keep the hands facing forward, pull higher, the fingers, see if you can get up a little higher, and then draw the elbows down. You're running lateral or sides of the body, all the way down onto the rib cage. Now, while we hold here, I'd like you to take your forearms and move them backwards. Nice. Now, do you feel that little bit of activation in and around the shoulders? I'm going to try it. Sorry.
We're going to try to keep that active as we go back into our folding position. So step the feet out, hip width apart, a little wider to the knee, toes angled to center line. Heels create the external rack activation. Now with the forearms pulling back, fold forward. Try not to compress through the neck. Try to grow the spine while you work to keep the forearms from falling down. Come all the way back up, hold up, chopstick time. Pull into the center line. Keep the forearms pulling back as you fold down. Back up slowly. Change the activation in the feet. Heels and fold. You can see how we're alternating, right? So, rising and descending. Nicely controlled. Switching the activation. We're going from the medial or middle muscles of the legs, the inner thighs, if you will, to the external muscles on those hips as we initiate. Fun flexion. Hold up, relax out, shake it out again. Nice. Oh, all those exercises, what do they work? Oh, our shoulders. Have you felt them? Good. Now, with those great shoulder exercises, we're going to come back in. I'm going to kind of put some stuff together. Right foot posts forward on the heel of that back foot. Sorry, on the toes of that back foot. The heel aiming to the sky. Thank you, Miss Q. Okay. Is that a miscue? No, that's a miscue right there. All right, now, I'm going to piston that back heel. So what we're going to do is we're going to crowd out the chest, squeeze the elbows, fold in on that front leg slightly. And we're going to add to this exercise now by taking that left heel and pushing it towards the earth. All the way down if you can get it, and then come back up onto the tippy toes. So let's oscillate like a wave, up and down between those 2 points. If the range of motion of driving the heel is limited, that's where you want to work. Try to getting that heel deeper or closer to the floor. It means that that calf muscle is getting elongated. There's a series of muscles, but you'll probably know it mostly as the calf muscle, although there's a series of other muscles involved here. All the way down, all the way up. And as we continue, I'd like you to see if you can add work to the other side of the body, so the heel is driving up and down, but that right cheek should start to feel like a little bit of burning. And if it's there for you now, we're going to add to it by extending the arms forward. So that simply puts a little more load or workload into that right cheek. And if it's there and available to do today, continue to do this with arms extended forward. If you need to bring them down onto hips, so be it. Now hold up, hands over heart, step the back foot forward, shake out the right, set up the left. Opposite side, hands hard.
Hands on hips.
Hands on hips, I'm sorry. Find your balance. On the toes, right foot, leaning it in. Drive down and come back up. And continue. Slowly is very important here too. Now, as the warmth starts to build, we're going to add on the effort, arms extend forward, slowly up, slowly down. Make sure your toes are not grabbing into the mat. They're nice and widely separated. We're articulating over the ball of the big toe on that right foot, driving heel and raising it over the ball of the big toe. A couple more repetitions. If you can lean in a little more, you'll get a little more out of this. If it's not there, don't worry about it. Next rep, come forward, hands hard. Stand it tall, shake it out. Oh, how do those gluteals feel now? What? Nothing?
Stretch.
Make a little stretch. All right, hands over hearts, step the feet out to the edges of the mat, run the feet parallel to the mat, the sides of the feet, that is. And we're gonna just basically start to do something we did earlier, shifting the hip left and then right, side to side. And then when you're ready, start to circle. Try to make your circle as wide or as big in diameter as possible. And then reverse the circle. So these are all good intermediary, like in regards to challenge. They're not overly challenging, but they're very effective for those muscles in and around the hips. And it's something you can easily do anytime during the day if you feel you need it. Now, I'm just going to go into a little bit of hula, which is simply slight side to side. And then I'm going to hold on that. And then while I'm holding on that, I'm going to let the arms fall. And I'm going to draw the shoulders up. And then I'm going to open the palms. And then I'm going to bend the elbows and pull the palms back towards the hips. I'm going to have my nice open, proud chest. I'm going to grow the grow the spine and my head, and therefore my neck, nice and long. Make sure we have little of any compression at all about decompressing, growing long, growing tall, holding, and then relax everything, shake it out. Let's come down onto the mats.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Smooth transition there. Did you notice it? Hardly at all, right? All right, it's hot. I'm gonna wipe my brow. All right, now we're gonna take our right leg, and sorry, left leg and bend it. So I'm gonna sit in the center part of the mat, and we're gonna just position that leg so that rotationally, now you can be further out or a foot further in, so the center line, you can be across the center line. I'd like you to find something that allows you to have a little bit of rotation of the leg down. So right foot can be wherever you want it to be. I normally just like posting it right there. Sometimes it's good for support. Figure out what's best for you. I've got both hands actively working now. So I've got right hand wrapping knee, left hand on floor, finger to the left hand, aiming backwards. I'm nice and proud. Long for the spine, proud for the chest. And I'm going to take my right ear, I'm going to drop it down to my right shoulder. And you feel that nice lengthening. Now, stretching through the neck can be problematic for some because we like to compress a lot in that region. And as you stretch here right now, I'd like you to imagine that both sides of the neck are growing long. However, the left side happens to be longer than the right. Up, and then bring the head back center, drop the chin into the chest. Raise it back up, pull the chin in towards the back of the body, drop that right shoulder, right ear down towards the right shoulder. Now, it's not the right shoulder reaching up to the ear, correct? We have a nice proud chest. We have shoulders settled, and we have length on both sides of the neck. As we come back center, switch up sides. Now, first work on the external rotation, see how low you can get that knee. Don't force it, just kind of let it go where it feels good for it. Keeping the spine long, chest proud. Take your head, pull it in towards, so it's almost like the front's pulling you towards the back. And now we're going to drop the left ear to the left shoulder. And when I say drop, you know what I mean. It's lengthening both sides. But that's the direction your head's going to go in. It'll hold on this for a couple breaths. You might notice the range of motion on one side differs from the other. Perfectly normal. Come back up center. Reset it all, crowd it all up, and then lower back down, or really kind of extend more on the right than on the left. Keep the chest proud, very important, right? We're trying to lengthen a lot of muscles here that interact with the neck. Coming back center, drop the chin onto the chest. Raise it back up. And move your head from side to side. And just relax it all. There you go. Now, bring both feet, toes to the corners of the mats. Gonna flex the feet so that we have a nice engagement of that shin muscle. As you do that, I'd like you to wrap the knees and I'd like you to cave into this. So this is flexion in the spine. From flexion, we're gonna do two things. So how we sequence this is very important. I'd like you to first activate spinal elongation and then shoulder rotation. So lengthen the spine, then pull the shoulders back. And then flex and cave in basically. So we have lots of spinal flexion, shoulders forward, spine extends, shoulders pull back. Grow nice and long for that spine, keep the chest proud. Give me a little pull to kind of activate those muscles at the back and then give into it. Let it all go back to flexion. So we're really kind of rolling off the tailbone onto the sit bones pelvically, spine long, chest proud, holding nice and long, and then caving in. And do this a few more times. So this is just practicing our spinal extension in the thoracic spine. Very important for shoulder location. When that spine is overly flexed, when we've given in too much, the shoulders shift forward. And this exercise is just to help correct some of that behavior. And it's good to do, again, you can tell it's a low pain exercise and it's low effort, but it's really to practice the innervation of the muscles that help spine, thoracic spine elongate. So let's a couple more times. I know, we're over explaining this for Kirsten. All right, one more time. Holding up. Now we're going to add a little bit more workload into this. If it's there, continue doing what you're doing. But if you can now, as you fold in, extend the arms forward. And when you extend, draw the shoulders back. Chest proud. Fold in, extend, hold back. I'm going to add one more progression to this, which is basically the elbows coming up and back, field goal, and then shifting forward. And then field goal, chest proud, and then release. Do a couple more repetitions. On the next repetition, hold back, field goal position, Pilates style, come back down onto the mat. Try to keep those arms from shifting forward. Great job. Extend the arms all the way backwards. Extend the legs all the way out. Roll from the belly button out to the tips. Big breath in. As you exhale, let the arms come back up over chest. Let's take the heels and push them into the earth so the legs are straight. As we create that posterior muscle activation, I'd like you to kind of take a six-pack muscle and engage it. Dropping your chin into the chest, Pilates style, come back up. Keep the heels pushing to the mat. Keep the spine in flexion. Keep the chin into the chest as you extend the hands all the way forward. Now inhale, extend to a flat back. Walk the hands back in, come all the way up to a seated position, staff pose. Take the heels and push them into the mat. It's not going to be a big effort. You can't really exercise a lot of leverage here. It's a simple, low-level muscle activation. Heels pushing. I'm going to keep the heels pushing as we walk the body forward. All the way down, heels driving to the mat, spine going into flexion. And walk back. Keep the heels pushing down into the mat. Staff pose. Walk them back forward, heels pushing to the mat. Walk it backwards. And then do it one more time. And as you come back up this time, switch it to the, sorry, take it over to the left side of the mat. We're gonna find that nice 90-degree angle. The modified pose is what I'm doing right now, which is basically having that right foot posted. And then we're gonna come down onto the left forearm. So we have the opportunity now to kind of be in a spot where I can rotate my hips. So you'll notice that my hip is angled backwards. I'm gonna try to roll up so that it's more square to the shin of my leg. So I'm gonna keep nice and tall, making sure I'm not collapsing into my shoulder. And that nice length, you can put padding or cushioning underneath, forearm and elbow if you need it. We're off the mat. So if you need it, grab it. We keep that. We're gonna continue to externally rotate or internally rotate the hip. So that right hip internally rotates. Now, while we keep that internal rotation, I'd like you to take this, the right leg, and try to open it up. So it's moving backwards, almost like we're hinging on the outside of the right foot. Grow the upper body nice and long. Feel that internal pull through the groin area. If you got that, awesome. You may be so flexible that you don't have any pull at all. That's good too. And then relax that, let it all kind of collapse in, switch up sides. And same thing, opposite side. Coming down. Find that nice opening. And then externally rotating. I don't think it's the camera, I think it's your eyes.
No, that could be.
All right, let's bring that up, square it all up. Let's go into a cross-legged position. Sorry, that cross-legged stuff. Now, let's make sure you're on your sit bones. So those are the bony protuberances of your ischium, the ischium basically. The bony protuberances of your pelvic girdle. So how we kind of get there is if you went into spinal flexion like I'm exhibiting right now, kind of caved in. If you kind of extend, the pelvic girdle actually rotates forward. And you can feel a little clicking sound of movement going over the tendons of the butt area. And once you've kind of done that, you should feel a nice, secure connection with your mat. With the fingers forward, you're going to separate them widely. And then you're going to walk them forward, spine long. So we're not giving into this right now. We're going to walk, walk, walk. So as we start to lengthen out those lats of ours, I'd like you to walk, walk, walk. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, then allow the spine to exhibit the flexion it wants to do. Let the head fall. Hold on this. See if you can walk the fingers a little more forward. As you inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, flex. See if you can walk the fingers a little more forward. Inhale, extend to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Walk it just a little more if you can. Inhale, extend. Keep the extension, walk the hands back in, come back up to your seated position and extend the legs forward. Thoracolumbar. That's what we were kind of lengthening out. Hopefully you enjoyed that as much as I did. Saying that. Now I have my hands inside my legs, my feet are flexed, my chest is proud, and I'm going to basically take my hands and walk them forward, spine and extension. So this is going to be felt more posteriorly. Gluteals, hamstrings, kind of working right now, lengthening, if you will. I walk my hands as far forward as I can. I'm going to now step them onto my feet. As I bring my feet into flexion, I'm going to wrap the outsides of my feet, the hands, so they kind of lap over the outside. I'm going to use my hands to now pull the feet in towards the body But I'm also gonna use my spinal extensors and grow the spine. And then just for fun, we're gonna proud out the chest, feel that nice posterior chain pull. That nice release going through. Growing the spine. Imagine my head is being pulled by a string. And two things are really happening. My spine is lengthening and my chest is crowding out. And I have my shoulders actively pulling backwards, which creates a nice tension and pull through the foot and lengthening through the posterior chain along the back side of the leg. You should feel nice. I don't know if my talking eases the pain at all, but it does help. Now, as you exhale, you come back to seated, release the feet. Take it all the way down onto your mats. Is it stretch time? I don't think so. I think that's,
You only have 5 minutes left.
I only have 5 minutes left. Oh my goodness, I'm being told how to do my class now.
Yeah.
It's just like being, I am married actually. All right, so now I got both feet planted close to the butt. We're gonna rock the pelvic girdle. So I'd like you to kind of start with the low back, sensation of skin lifted from the mat. And then I'd like you to rock it back so that you can get that low back skin touching the mat. So it's almost like you're kegling, or I don't know what it's called, but you're rotating, you've got your pubis pulling up into your belly button area. You've rotated it internally from the bottom, and then you can externally rotate, just like you're almost trying to print your butt cheeks on the mat. The low back lifts off the floor with that rotation, and then we rock it back down slowly. And I like you to oscillate. It's like a wave motion between the forward and up and back and down position. So our pelvic floor is very integral to a lot of the stabilization of the spine and the facilitation of the movement of the lower body in relation to the upper body. It all kind of goes through that pelvic girdle, if you will. So we're just kind of working on pelvic stretching and lengthening and strengthening as we do this exercise. All right, now let's get that low back skin down on the mats. We're going to continue with our stretching by taking the left leg over the right. We have a little bit of initiation of the right leg trying to rotate externally. And then I'd like you to use the left leg to overcome that external rotation. So it's kind of like a pushing against each other phenomena. Let the left leg be more dominant, even though the right leg provides resistance. I'd like you to be able to rotate that left leg towards the earth, taking the right with it, holding on that. And then resisting the opposite legs working against each other, but still working against each other all the way back up. And when you arrive back to the starting point, switch up the legs and start on that side. And when you come back up on that side, switch up sides again. I'm going to progress the stretch. Take your right arm, reach it straight up, sweep it directly backwards. Open the palm to face the sky. Use the fingers to pull that arm long. So your elbow is straight. You're kind of reaching out the whole shoulder, if you will, trying to get back fingers as far as you can as you continue to resist the opening through the hip with the legs playing a tug of war of sorts. On the next breath, as you release it, return the right arm back down, come back to the starting position, switch up sides, and start it all up again. So in addition to the lateral stretching, this is also good for your pectoralis, your chest muscles, which often get shortened up when we sit because we tend to rotate internally. So this is a very great stretch for them. Both the major and minor muscles here of the pecs. Grow the arms, take a couple more breaths. And then come back up to your starting points. Let's extend the legs all the way down and straight. Let's bring the arms above the head. And let's pull from the tips, toe tips and fingertips, opposite direction. Find that nice length, hollow out the belly as you grow the body. Fill those lungs of yours with air. As you exhale it, relax everything, bring the knees up and into the chest, rock your body forward to back, and come up to a seated position.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Cross-legged, extended legged staff, whatever is best for you right now. Let's bring our hands over hearts. So I can thank you for participating today. I appreciate you being here. Namaste.
Namaste.
All done. Oh. Woo! Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna grab a water.
Good morning.
How are you guys?